Hello everyone. Good that you are responding. We heard a lot of story, a lot of amazing things nature can do to us, right? And how many of you have just arrived in Singapore a year or two ago? It's really, really hot, right? Yeah, can I have next slide, please? And just now, many speakers already said that getting close to nature can almost do wonder, right? Good for your physical health, mental health, and almost everything. But do you know that actually people spend 90% of their time indoor? You all love air-conditioned space, right? Singapore is really hot, right? So only 10% is spent outdoor. So not meeting just now what the experts say, right? So from now on, you all have to go outdoor more, okay? So next slide, please. Yeah. So last month in April, do you know that it is the hottest April, on record? And last year, 2023, was also the hottest year on record. It's scary, right? You're so young, and every year you hear news that every year is hotter than last year and hotter and hotter, When you're 20 and 30, how hot can it get, right? So last month, it was actually in our Southeast Asia region. We're very near to the equator. In fact, do you know that Singapore is only 1 degree north of the equator? Right? Really, really hot. But in Singapore, it is actually less, less painful. I was in Bangkok when it was 41 degrees. And when I came back, I feel a bit more relieved. Do you know why? Because we have a lot of trees, a lot of green coverage. So, some country in our region last month hit all the way to 48.2 degrees. 48 degrees is scary, right? So, there's also fatality. People died of heat stroke and all that. So, I'm not going to scare you with a lot of data, okay? But I really want you to know that more than half of population are staying in the cities now. That by 2050, 70% will be staying in the cities. And cities only account for 3% of the land mass on Earth. But we are consuming a lot of natural resources. We are also, consume 60% of energy on Earth, and also contributed more than 70% of greenhouse gas emission. It's very bad to the planet. So what we need to do now is to conserve and also regenerate it. So I will not go into every single detail. The slide will be here. I will just show you some actual example what a Singapore developer, we are a private company, what we can do, and as a home builder, and also we build office building, shopping mall, and hotels, and what we can design, build, and manage our buildings that is in harmony with nature. And next slide, please. Okay, do you know what is biophilic design? Okay, basically, is we bring nature to our built environment. Okay, roof, greenery or vertical greenery, or a lot of using tree and natural feature, whether it's blue or green. Water is also cooling, right? I'll show you some of the buildings that we have embraced nature as solution. But do you know that when I first came to Singapore 30 years ago, I was very impressed. The road was lined with trees and beautiful bougainvillea and all that, right? Do you notice that when you come to Singapore? Yes, I like the girl. I think this is yeah. So actually, we have a lot of tree lining our road. We call it the nature ways, and this is part and parcel of Singapore's aspiration to be a city in nature. So all of the previous speaker already say that trees is one of the most effective way to cool our environment, right? And then we are also planting 1 million trees by 2030, and we are progressing very well. And so now we are also looking at skyrise greenery. Next slide, please. So we are a builder, just now I talked about it, and we are 61 years old now, and in 1963, we only have 8 employees, but today we are operating in 29 countries and regions. And what we are proud of is not just the expansion geographically. What we are proud of is actually our early adoption of so-called sustainability and nature conservation. And next slide, please, into our business, strategy. And this slide here shows that in the center, you can see that is our corporate ethos in 1995. It's called Conserving as We Construct, long before you were born. So almost 30 years now. So at that time, nobody really talked about climate emergency or global warming and all. But what we look at is, as a construction building industry, we account for 37% of greenhouse gas emission globally. So we know that we can do something. Okay, we don't want to cause negative impact on the environment, and in fact, we can turn it into positive environment in the way we design our building, design our land, how we build, what sort of materials do we use, and how we manage properties. And most importantly is how do we engage building users, whether you're home users or office workers or anyone who use our hotels, our shopping malls. So the 4 pillars here is a little bit more business-like, but allow me to share that. When we talk about sustainability or nature conservation, we need everybody to be on board. So the first I pillar is about integration. It cannot be just the chief sustainability team, officers team talking about saving the world. We need everyone, the board, the top bosses, to the mid-management, to operation, everyone. And we cannot just have one department doing it. We also have to cut across all operational and business units. So this is what we do. Integration is very important. From the big bosses to even the tea lady must know that we need to save water, we need to save energy, okay? Innovation is very important. It's like playing football. If you don't go and score, will you win the game? You won't, right? You can't just stand in front of the goal, right? So we need adaptation. Adaptation means you look for solutions, innovation, technology to really decarbonize, your buildings and all. And the third I is all these technology are available, but they are not free. So we need investment. We need to invest in that and also attract funds. So we also look at sustainable finance and my slide disappeared, but never mind, I memorized it. So innovation is very important. And last I is about impact. Everything we do, it has positive or negative impact. And we must measure. If you don't measure, you don't know your strength and weakness. It's like your exam. If you don't prepare, you don't know what is your weakness, right? So you need to get tutor to help you. So same for businesses, we need to measure. And there are many, many frameworks that we can use to measure. I'm not going to bore you with all the financial terms. But the most important one this year, we added TNFD, which is the Task Force for Nature-Related Financial Disclosure. Some of the previous speakers already talking about it. But how do you look at the risks and opportunities that nature offers us from a business perspective? Yeah? Okay, next one, please. Okay, I'm not going to test you of what we did since 1995, but safe to say that I want to tell you that even more than 29 years ago, we are already looking at how do we conserve environment, conserve resources when we build our property. And then we also look at the first eco-condominium that we built was far back in 2003. So that was even before the Green Mark was launched. But with the government policy, it's accelerated the pace. So most of the condominium now you can see have a lot of green features in it. And then now most importantly is we also look at net zero. Have you heard of the global race to zero? It's really a race because we are running out of time. We need to protect the environment, we need to save energy, reduce carbon footprint so that we can win the race in for net zero. So that in future you have fish to eat, you have trees, you have animals, now there are a lot of animals are at the risk of being extinct. And in fact, last year I have the honors to follow the Antarctic climate expedition, and it was really warm. It was not even minus 10 degree or 20 degree. It was about zero, -2, the coldest, and it was really sad. And we saw a lot of penguins home are being covered with algae and all that. It's not when I imagine Antarctic is like thick white snow, right? It was not like that last year when I was there, so it's a bit sad, and that's why I came back. I staged an exhibition at the Botanic Garden. It's the City of Green Gallery. We call it Melting Ice, Sinking Cities. Whatever happened in the polar region, North Pole or South Pole, their ice melt, what will happen? It will affect the whole world. It will raise sea level. Okay, that's why their cities are sinking. So we actually stage it, and then it is still online if you want to visit. It's digital, and www.cdl.sustainability.com. So most importantly is I want to share with you what is TNFD. The next slide, please. Again, I won't bore you with the very complex framework, but there are 4 areas that we have to look at. We have to look at the governance, which is whether you have policy in place to help you guide your practices, and also how do you engage, the internal stakeholder and external stakeholder, our home buyer, our tenants, our supplier, and then also what is our strategy. Whether the strategic focus is shared by internal and external stakeholders is very important. We rely on the contractors to help us. We rely on suppliers to supply to us sustainable building materials. So we need everybody on board, and there are a lot of risks that it is posed by. Just now, Dr. Loh was already talking about. Actually, loss of biodiversity and natural system are going to be the top 4 global risks in a 10 years projection. Okay, it's very scary that. Can you imagine one day you wake up, you don't see any more trees, you can't hear any more bird chirping, right? You don't see any more animal. So that's why, as young people, you all need to do your part also. Okay, try not to use your air conditioned 24 hours, right? Tell your parents that no, we need fresh air. Okay, open the window. Okay. So then the last one is actually matrix and targets. These are a lot of framework, how businesses can measure our carbon footprint. It's like annual medical check, right? People need to go to see doctor for medical check, especially older people. Then we will know that whether my blood pressure is healthy, whether my cholesterol is good, whether the blood sugar is healthy. Sustainability report is an annual test of a company's performance, whether we are doing good in terms of energy consumption, carbon footprint, reducing waste, managing water consumption, and all this. These are all very important. So when you grow up, I'll share more with you to teach you how to do sustainability report. So, okay, next slide, please. Yeah. Okay, these are more fun things, huh? Then we cannot just tell people that, we green and, we green the world, we green the buildings, How? So the answer is, there are actual example. This one is actually Tree House Condominium along the Dairy Farm Road, and this is really one of the pride and joy that I love most. It's called Tree House, which is around the nature reserve area, and this particular building is west facing. In Singapore, west facing means you have a lot of afternoon sun. This particular wall is now covered with vertical garden. Actually, it's a green wall. 24-story high is pretty tall, and the wall has a few hours of afternoon sun every day. So behind it, there are 48 units, master bedroom. So what will happen every day when the owner come back? You will feel the heat. It's like an oven, right? Trap the heat inside. So this green wall was built because of that, to lower the temperature inside the 48 units. And after 1 year study by NUS School of Design, it actually proven that it helped to lower the interior temperature by up to 3 degrees Celsius. That means it's much more bearable when you come in, and you don't need to blast the air conditioner to the 20 degree, 18 degree, right? So that helped a lot to save energy, and this one is proven. And apart from that, we also conducted a biodiversity impact study. Why we do that is because it is near the nature reserve. Whatever we do, the construction will affect the local biodiversity, the flora and fauna. So in fact, after this study, it's surprisingly, we actually found 99 native animals. Do you know that Singapore has so many native animals, insects and bugs and all that? So 99 native animals and 30 over plants. in the vicinity. So what we did is we worked with the architect, the landscape architect, try to incorporate some of the native flora and fauna into our garden. And end up, we have devoted 77% of the whole site area for landscaping, greenery, and also water feature. And this green wall actually is very cool. It entered the Guinness World Record, So it's one of the biggest. And so in a small Singapore, we actually entered the world record. Okay. So the next one is actually, this is a newer development along the East Coast. Not completed yet, going to complete it in the next few months. It's called Amber Park. 3 tall buildings connected on the rooftop, has a lot of greenery. Just now the previous speaker all talking about green roofing and all that. And apart from greening, it's also about circularity. You know what is circularity? Recycling, upcycling, bring back the waste, turn waste into usable materials. Simply put, there's more to that. And in fact, this jogging track is along this, on the rooftop of these 3 buildings. And the jogging track materials, can you tell that what material it is? You can, right? They look like normal jogging track, but actually the material used was actually recycled from your old shoes, old sneakers. Yeah, so actually it is a very cool, jogging track, and when you walk on it, you don't feel it's almost like your jogging track. But that is what we are trying to do. And next slide, please. So we can bring back, turn waste into usable materials. Okay, that is all about circularity. And in Singapore, we have a lot of regulation, a lot of targets and goals and all that. So under the Singapore Green Plan that some of the speakers talked about, one of which is actually the 80-80-80 goal. 80% of our new development have to be super low energy building. Super low means it has to be at least 60% more efficient than the current building code. So these are the 2 new developments that to be completed in the next few years. And on the left-hand side is actually achieving the Green Mark Platinum Super Low Energy Integrated Mixed Development. Means it has actually residential usage unit, and we have hotels and also retail and office components in this building. And you know that Singapore is very subject to the risk of flood, right? Rising sea level. So this is built about 4 meters above sea level because this is very near the Marina Coast area. And this has a design of all the green feature. You see a lot of green and the water feature. And it also uses quite a lot of solar panels to generate energy. And over and above, we also partner with Singapore Powers to bring in the district cooling, which is actually something very technical, but it helped to really reduce, raise the energy efficiency and by using district cooling, and it really helped us to achieve the super low energy level, and it is very economically beneficial. It is projected that we can save about $500,000 per year in terms of energy cost. In Singapore, energy cost is very high, so we must save energy, okay? Then on the right-hand side is residential development. Similarly, we achieved the level of super low energy level, and we also look at, just now the previous speaker talked about health, which is very true. And the Green Mark Platinum level now, we look at health and well-being, and look at the whole life carbon and the maintenance as well, and how people use building is very important. Whether we have the recycling facility for them to use, and to dispose of their waste is very important. Okay, almost last line now. So, can anyone or one organization can save the world alone? We can't, right? So we need everybody to come on board. And now we actually see a lot of opportunities that we can work together, whether the regulator means the government on the policy level, and whether businesses like us and also individuals. We can actually work together to look at how we can mitigate risks and also deploy technology. Just now you saw quite a lot of cool design, right? We can actually introduce more into our development, infrastructure or building, so that we can actually raise the performance of conserving the environment, and also help to save costs for businesses as well. And even at home, you can go back and ask your parents how much energy costs how much do you pay for, to the Singapore Power or whatever, yeah? So then you can help challenge yourself how you can reduce it, okay? So there are challenges, it's not easy, we need to really measure, but there are ways to resolve it, and there are so many speakers talk about how they can actually measure data and all. And when you know the data, you will know the performance, and then you can identify gaps for improvement. So last but not least, I'm a true friend of triple bottom line. Because without a healthy planet, will you have healthy people and markets to support your business, to maintain profitable? So I think this is very important, that because during COVID, we all know that we were locked down in the house, we can't go out, right? So we need a healthy planet in order to maintain healthy living, and businesses, economy can thrive. So this is the last slide, and I hope that we all can, next slide, please, the last slide. We all can zoom into how to protect nature, appreciate nature, and you will become a healthier, and we'll have a more thriving economy in the future. Thank you very much.